Welcome to the Maui Artist Showcase. Thanks for watching. Did you know that your television is a time bomb and that for every moment you watch it, you're being programmed? In today's world, that means fear and you're not good enough.
Well, one thing I can say, it'll always be true. Yeah, I love you. All right, sing it all without an alcohol. I love you. Yeah, I love you. I love you. You know I do. I love you. Yeah, I love you. Oh, I love you. You know I do. Well, one thing I can say, it'll always be true. Yeah, I love you. You know, guess what? Yeah, you love me too. Oh, yeah, you love me too. Oh, you love me too. I know you do. I love you. I love you. Ah, you love me too. I know you do. Yeah, one thing I can say, it'll always be true. Yeah, I love you. Alright, find somebody and sing this to them. I love you, oh, I love you. I love you, you know I do. Yeah, one thing I can say, it'll always be true. Yeah, I love you. Alright, sing it all without an alcohol. I love you. I love you, I love you, you know I do. I love you, yeah, I love you, oh, I love you, you know I do. Well, one thing I can say, it'll always be true, yeah, I love you. You know, guess what? Yeah, you love me too, oh, yeah, you love me too. Oh, you love me too, I know you do. I love you, I love you, ah, you love me too. I know you do. Yeah, one thing I can say, it'll always be true. Yeah, I love you. Alright, find somebody and sing this to them. I love you, oh, I love you. I love you, you know I do. I love you, I love you, I love you, you know I do. Well, one thing I can say, it'll always be true. Yeah, I love you. I love you. How many people here consider themselves artists? Show of hands. Almost everybody in the room. That's delightful. Delightful.
Does that include writers?
Any kind of artist, whatever you think of as an artist. Now, how many people here are creative? Can I see a show of hands? Creative. Okay. That's everybody, for the most part, except this gentleman here with his arm shut. I guess he's neither an artist nor creative. I think you're wrong, sir. I think you are creative.
Most creative.
Despite anyhow, this is for Creative Spirit. The Maui Artist Showcase is a gift from the members of our team here who have put this together. V.A.R.I.O.U.S, Jarrell, 3 Singing Eagles, Jason Schwartz, High Die, DJ, Richard Marks, Ariel Paisley, Don Conroe. So many of us have put our heart and soul on the line to create a space for the creative spirit to share and to influence us in ways that we hope will empower you, tickle you, and help you live more optimally on the planet. How many would like to live more optimally on the planet? Less stress, more fun? Yeah? Yeah. Well, we're going to have a great experience tonight, and I'd like to introduce Don Conroe. Please give him a warm welcome. He began with us all these years ago back in Los Angeles. He's now straight from New York. He came in just to do this show.
From Australia.
From Australia, where he's been on tour. So, how many of you are familiar with sound healing? Perhaps at the end of this experience, we'll all be a little better off from being gonged. Now, I know you all remember the Gong Show. This is a slightly different version of it. Don Conroe.
Yay!
Oh, yay!
Yeah,
Well, be kind to your soul. Be kind to your soul. And show the way of your heart, of your heart. For the gateway is opening wide, and the path is more easy to walk, and the eye of the needle grows bigger than big. Let the truth draw you into its heart, its heart. Will I offer you peace? I offer you friendship, and I offer you love. I offer you love. I hear your needs, I see your beauty, I feel your feelings, I feel your feelings, I offer you love. All wisdom flows from the highest source. The source in you, yes, I honor the source in you. Let us work together, let us play together, let us love together. You are my own true self. You are my own true self. You are my own true self. You are my So about 2,500 years ago, Buddha was around, Confucius was around, Pythagoras was around. Three people who had a big effect on us today. And the Buddha, when he was around, he liked Confucius a lot. In fact, he sent out 26 of his guys throughout the Far East, China, Japan, Korea, Ring of Fire Nations. And he says, wherever you find a bell or a gong over there, would you please put these two inscriptions on the front? And they said, we sure will. He says, well, that's a saying of Confucius. It means, Tai Loi, happiness has arrived. So when you bring Buddhism to all these countries over there, and they realize that we honor Confucius, and that we're bringing happiness, this will spread around the world. And someday, 2,500 years from now, I will return in the form of musical resonance, loving kindness, and this world will be spiritualized by this generation of gongsters. So here we are. So it's my job to get as many people as possible playing these peace gongs so that the world will change. And it's the world's first synthesizer. It's made out of copper, tin, and nickel. And I think around 4,500 years ago, it was formed on the floor of a bakery back in the Middle East. And when the baker picked up this massive metal that oozed out of the brick oven, he hit it, and when he hit it, he said, that's the sound of the universe. And so it's been used ever since then as a form of initiation, so that people can be exercised, their demons can be gotten rid of, and they can smile and be happy again. So it's a wonderful instrument. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, Tom?
Yeah.
I understand that you have done something with weaponry? Weaponry? Armaments.
Yes. An old tradition. Every time that there was a cooperative peace in the world, they would melt down all the weapons of war and make them into gongs and bells. So in World War II, the Nazis melted down all the bells of Europe. And after the war, they had to recycle them and melt the armaments down to remake the bells and the gongs again. And this goes on and on throughout the history of humanity. And so right now, I think it's important that we begin taking all of this war metal and making it into musical instruments again.
Ho! Mitakuyasen, ho!
Anyway, I've had a wonderful time here on Maui, and hope to come back next year. I'd like to teach people how to play the gong and how to do what we call mantra sutra, which is it comes from a Russian composer called Alexander Scriabin back in the turn of the century, to my musical teacher V.A.R.I.O.U.S, and passing it on. I have some stuff up here if anybody's interested in. I'll be taking it back to the mainland with me. It's about 8 different long social rites, and some of it's in holophonic sound, so that it'd be very good with interactive media.
Are they CDs?
They're all CDs. And then I have a little book that I wrote, put together for the musicians of the New Age, called The Music of Wholeness. And it's a little manifesto by Dane Rudyard about the music of this new century. It's called Syntonic Music, and there's about 70 really deep quotations about it. It's very good for just flashing on composition and on gongs and bells. And that's it. I have one other thing I'll show you. It's called a geometer. The outside ring is the 24-hour-a-day sheet clock. The inner ring is the seasonal astrology wheel, and it tells you what color your sign is, what note your sign is, tells you your tarot card, tells you the relationship between aspects in astrology and chords and music. It's got a lot of different things in it. It's very good for yoga teachers and practitioners, and not too many people have turned on to it yet, but for those who are into synthesizing, bringing diverse elements together into a whole, like they make the gong, it works pretty good. I think that's it. You want to just have it?
Thank you. Give Don Connell a big round.
Where'd you get that gong?
Oh, this gong, if anybody wants it, I'm supposed to take it back to New York with me, but somebody, we need a gong in Hawaii, by the way, here.
Yes.
We don't have one.
No gong masters here?
So, there it is.
How much? The bid is asking how much do you owe? Are we starting to bid at?
It has to start around 1,200.
1,200. We're starting the bidding at $1,200. Going once?
I'm both for you.
Okay, still going. I have one person to thank for standing here. That's our next artist. Because I was on the fence. You know, thanks, Tom. I didn't know if I really wanted to come out and do this again, because I've done it so many times, and I'm so many different people in my head, as maybe some of you can relate to. I mean, talented people are usually talented in more than one area of expression. In fact, we're talented in various media. Various media, now what could that possibly stand for? Well, there was an organization in LA called Songwriters Services and Resources. And I said to myself, well, there's nothing like that for visual artists. Wouldn't it be great to have a visual artists resource center where we can come learn how to market our art, how to package it, how to find agents. Is anybody here interested in any of that kind of thing? How to get book deals, any kind of thing like that? So, you know, we need to find ways to get our work out, and creative people aren't always that good at marketing themselves. That's why agents exist. Well, we're here for a similar reason. We'd like to help you shine. And when I had this idea about various visionary artists' resources, including other unique services, one of the other unique services was this community forum on the arts, where creative people could share interactively with audiences. Now, when September 11th came to pass, I had found myself in Florida at my dad's bedside, because he almost died. He had a heart attack. I changed my travel plans, and I set myself to travel on September 11th to return to my itinerary. And before I got to the airport, my dad called me, and he's now fully recovered. Thank you very much for your concern. And he said, you better turn on TV and watch, because there's something going on here. And I turned on the TV, and sure enough, we all know what happened, and it changed our lives unalterably forever. We can never go back to the way it was. As much as we hear the rhetoric about we have to get back to our lives being normal, that's not going to happen, folks. Life is different now. So I think it's all the more important that if you're a peace-bringing, creative person that has some love to share, that has a solution to feast, to famine, to ending the conflicts within our own selves and within the peoples of the world, that you step forward and take this microphone and push me out of the way. Because I'm a conduit, and that's all I am. I'm facilitating the best I know how, creative spirit, so that we can be uplifted and empowered as humanity, taking little baby steps towards peace on this little planet in the middle of this vast, vast creation of many, many universes. Small steps for a small speck of time. And here we are. And what are we going to do with our times on this planet? Well, I've chosen to make my life work to help your life work. And in return, I would like you to help me make my life work. That's paranoia. That's what we were talking about before. The unsettling suspicion of having somebody conspire behind your back to assist you. Well, today is December 8th. This is the day that we declared war. This is also the day that John Lennon was obliterated from the planet in physical body, but as we know, his spirit lives on deeply within many of us and permeates all of time and space and all of creation. And all of the creativity that he represents is really something that we all have inside of us at any given time. We're all that creative to make life work for us if we learn how to get out of our own way and let God express. And that's the learning process that we're here for on this planet, is to listen closely to the depths of our soul and our spirit and to allow that to move us and to honor the impulses. Well, Haidai had the impulse to call me up and say, hey, let's get together and do something. So I thank you, Haidai. My blessings to you for getting me over the hump and for forcing my hand to come out here and begin this all over again to try to create something great in collaboration with all of you and all of our friends around the world who are on a similar path of bringing peace to this planet. So this show is in honor of all those that gave our life, their life itself in the name of having harmony unfold in our universe. So I give thanks to you for being here. I'm totally honored that all of you showed up. Give yourselves a hand right now. This is 1983, when we began this work, 3 years after we began this work, to bring into fruition a place for creative spirit to unfold and unfurl and be appreciated and compensated. So this is at something called the Artists Resource Center, the prototype of Creativity Cafe at Future World Expo in Los Angeles in 1983. And for about 20 years now, I've kind of been putting my personal life on the back burner because I dream of a better world. And I'm compelled to live in a world where we're all supportive of each other in a very pronoic way. Now, I know a lot of you may be paranoid on various levels, and certainly with all of the media, they fearful. We have a right to be even more paranoid if we believe a lot of what we see on the tube. But there's really other threads going on this planet besides what's happening on television. And a lot of the creative people here in this room this evening are proponents of the new fabric of reality. People who share their heart and their love and their passion for creating situations where everybody is served, where there are no hungry people, where there are no hurting people. And the reason that I do this is because we need more positive media on television, or what we know until now as television. We need more awareness of all of the wonderful things that people are doing worldwide to help other people. So if anybody cares to read this program, it says that this all began back in 1980. Well, in 1980, I had the great experience of seeing my slides on a big screen. I said, wow, that's great. Wouldn't it be great for photographers to get together and share their work with other photographers and just sort of, be able to appreciate each other's imagery. And then I said, well, not only artists, photographers have slides of their work, artists also have slides of their work. So perhaps it would be nice for them also, rather than on a gallery wall, to be present and to share their art interactively with an audience, so that the creative people can get an appreciation and instant feedback about their talents. Well, the idea here is for people who brought images to show them. And right now, this is...
He will interview the artist. The artist will present his or her work. There'll be a little feedback with the audience, and then we'll be the next artist. That's what will happen. That's what usually happens. I'll guarantee that that's what will happen.
Normally, as if there was any normal. Introduce people who bring their slides in this portion of the show. But since this is what's happening, and Harvey's here, and it's working, and we have a request for the lights being dimmed. BJ, is there a way we can bring the house lights down a little bit more?
This light.
I don't think he has that finesse of control. Remember, this is not a theater made for presentations. This is an internet cafe that we've come in and tried to transform into a creativity cafe. Oh, that's a little better. Now we've got some contrast. Now, at some point in the evening, we're all going to ask you to get in front of the projector and make little funny things with your hands. You know, do you remember how to do that? No.
That was taken at least 57.
I'd like to give thanks at this point to V.A.R.I.O.U.S. Ray came out of nowhere and needed a place to stay. He was losing his place where he was living, and it so happened that he has a Macintosh. And I met him up here at this internet cafe, and I told him about the show, and he liked it. And I realized that I didn't really have a machine to make the projections with from my computer files, so he's been working with me all week to get our website together. And by the way, right over here on this machine is a guest book. If you'd like to stay in touch with us, please come over to this computer here. Everybody see this computer right over here. And sign in and fill out a few details about who you are and why you're here. If you have art to share, if you'd like to come back and be featured on our show, we'd be glad to do that. And you can do that at any time. Just remember, at any time in the course of the proceedings of this evening, you're welcome to interrupt with questions, give feedback, offer solutions, and especially compliment the artists on their work unless you don't like it. And if you don't, tell them why. Hey, why not? We're all entitled to our opinions, right? We don't have to like everything. But artists do like feedback. Those who would like to share their creativity with us can do so. Unlike the gallery system, which is kind of a very limiting situation. So please do come and let us know you have something to share. In order for us to present your work, we need slides of your work ideally, and after that, we can use a CD-ROM of your work. So if you have artwork that is not on slides or not on CD-ROMs, and you'd like to be featured, then we can help you get your artwork photographed or digitized for presentation on CD-ROM. Does everybody here have a program? Raise your hand if you don't have a program. Is Jacob around still?
Hello, beautiful. Glad to see you.
Yeah. I'm sorry I have to leave soon. I just came to give my love to Peter. Are you on? Am I
Yes,
on?
you're on.
Hey, good
You're
luck,
giving
Peter.
it, baby.
Pat.
45 minutes to do a radio program. Do you think we could do it in one moment?
Absolutely.
In a flash?
In a flash of light.
What kinds of things do you do in a flash of light?
You get abducted by UFO aliens.
Aha!
You sing really loud in a
Aha!
lounge at an airport.
In a spotlight?
Yes,
Is there smoke all around?
there is if you want it to be.
Oh, we don't want that. No smoke.
No smoke.
Please, no smoke.
The smoke's not there.
Don't smoke. We don't like smoke.
I'll smoke if I want to. It's my right to smoke. In fact, it's my right as a human being to blow smoke into your face and maybe take my second-hand smoke into your lungs. What do you think of those apples?
It's time for me to leave. Good night.
Good night.
Smoke if I want to, smoke if I want to. You would smoke too if you didn't have the flu.
Through their writing and through their poetry. And we have a wonderful poet, a poetess, who's going to give up the camera, and we're going to switch hats. Or maybe you should keep that hat, and I'll just take the camera. Because 3 Singing Eagles, it's your turn to share some warm round of applause. Go!
Thanks, guys. Yeah, you're going to be making up the poem. I'm going to be the instrument for it. So, to kind of get ready for that, do I got a mic up here, babes? Cool. I'm going to put some red on my lips to symbolize how my lips are going to belong to you for the next 10 to 15 minutes, babies.
Nice.
All right. So what I'd like to do
Just take it off.
is to take all of it off. Uncle Charlie isn't in the house, is he? Small kind local joke. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is start a story, poem, song, whatever form it's going to take. And I'd like you guys to throw out stuff. And what I'll do is I'll open my hands. Open my hand like this, so I don't have to keep saying, give me something more, you know, this will be like the sun. And then just throw out a word, a phrase, something, and let's just keep it rolling. So I'd like you to think right now, where would you like to start the story? Because I remember what Peter was speaking about dreams, and I'm going to be having a live television show starting in January called Beings Human. And it's about being a human being, but it's about the basic human rights that we have through the Declaration of Human Rights and stuff. And my idea is that we don't deserve even one of these human rights unless we start behaving like human beings to each other. And so the kind of television show we're going to have lists in the back. What made me feel like a human being today? You know, someone stopped and asked me if I needed help when I was just hanging out smoking a cigarette on the side of the road. I didn't even need help, but boy, that made me feel like a great human being and part of this planet, you know. Or someone gave me stink eye at the gas station, and I felt like such a, you know, so dehumanized the whole day. And so we're going to have that. We're going to have human rights violations, ways that people feel their human rights have been violated, and also ways that human rights are being encouraged and growing. And right in the center is going to be a list for dreams. Like the most wild and crazy dreams you have. Right now I'm working with a bunch of women. You get these crone communities together. I'm a grandmother of 2, and I recently spent some time going full-time. I'm working on my master's degree to teach telecommunications at MCC. And I recently, 4 days after 9/11, I was working with this scientist on an alternative energy project. There were 3 of us working in this project. Well, him and his wife thought World War III was coming, closed up the house, closed up the project. I was homeless, full-time. My children could not be with me, had to send them places, sleeping on the beach. And there were other women, other crones, other old women that are sleeping on the damn beaches, you know, and homeless and brilliant. Some of us are brilliant, you know. So what is this all about? So we're starting, you know, that's like one of the crazy dreams we're going to be talking about. Oh. So what I'd like to do is to start out and to continue with crazy dreams, and let's make a story, let's make a poem, let's spin a myth right here and make dreams come true in this room, and allow me please to be your instrument. Thank you. Okay, anyone have a place for us to start?
Garbage. The center of the earth. Little beach.
Little beach. I'm just thinking.
What is a rose?
On Little Beach, I picked up a rose. I wondered what it was. Was it garbage? Was it given to somebody? Was it breathed out with love to somebody? And that somebody held it and discarded it and crushed it into the sand? Or was the rose of promise? Was a rose of promise that from its dead petals, from the composted dead petals would rise native Hawaiian plants, cascading over the beach, receding over the beach, retaking the beach? Would they come up from that rose? Would they come up from its juice? Would they rise up from the juice of the rose? Would the juice of the rose water those native Hawaiian plants from this moment into perpetuity? Would it?
Yeah.
Water.
All of the daughters of the earth walked down the beach that morning. They had all congregated. Every one of them from around the planet had come. Some in body, some had astral traveled, some had used advanced technology to get there. And they walked Little Beach, and the sand under their feet, filled with a couple of discarded rose petals, started to grow with rose petals. The rose petals started to mound up. It was just like the Lady of Guadalupe and her miracle of the rose petals, only more orgasmic. Up came the rose petals, up they came in yellow, up they came in red, up they came in white, up they came in brown. Are these garbage rose petals? No, they are a new species, said the sisters and the daughters of the earth.
Right.
Greedy developers.
The greedy developers walked along the sands of Little Beach, and somehow the succulent spiritual energy of the daughters of the earth had left impressions on the sand, and somehow those brown rose petals that looked suspiciously like garbage, like trash, were actually magical rose petals. And through the souls of those greedy developers that indeed were human beings, are human beings, just like the sisters, just like the daughters, just like every single human being who's ever thought of a rose, touched a rose, smelled the rose, chomped rose petals in between their teeth in a yuppie salad. Every one of them, human beings, just like the greedy developers, and the greedy developers went, yes! Oh shit, man, these rose petals are feeling good on my feet! Oh my God! I'm thinking the daughters of the earth might have been here. One of the greedy developers was driving up Haleakala Highway from Little Beach. There had been a feeder road, a connector road made through Heiaus, through ancient lands. They wanted to connect up the high technology with the Star Wars. And he was driving up Haleakala Highway one day in this postmodern world. None of the computers were being used anymore. The feeder road was old and potholed. Wild roses were growing on the side. And he was driving up his old Maui cruiser because no more cars were being brought to the land. Yet the islands had been cut off because all the gas had run out, and all the Kmarts and all the hotels had left. All the locals had fun going into the hotels. There were many roses in there. And they took the roses, and they took the towels, and they took the tiny little soaps, and they made rest stops all along the paths. And this one greedy developer, he had been there on Little Beach that day. Oh yes, he had felt the rose petals, the brown rose petals, and he had been infected, and he could not leave the land. No, he knew it was impractical. He knew there was no gas. He knew that there was only roses, wild roses. Why was he going up Haleakala Highway? There was a perfectly good feeder road. And on his thigh, his bare thigh, because he had been infected by Little Beach and no longer wore clothes, on his bare thigh, as he drove up Haleakala Highway, no longer needed to be combed, by the way. Not that busy on Maui nowadays. As he drove up Haleakala Highway, on his bare naked thigh appeared a big brass key. And he remembered one of the daughters that walked on Little Beach, and her name was Alice, and she knew the door to the other dimension, and he knew suspicious was this key. God, it's brown. Is it brass? Oh, he got back in his intellect a minute. No, it's just brown. It's like the magic rose petals, and he pulled that car off the side of the road. And he looked at the gas gauge, and it was almost empty anyway, but he turned it off. And he turned off the lights. And he put the car in park. And he put on the emergency brake. And he walked to the side of the road, expecting a door. And he found the door. And he got WD-40 from his car, because he knew that damn lock was old. And he loosened up that damn lock. And he stuck that key in the lock. And he knew he had gone completely insane. And he was no longer a greedy developer. No, he was no longer a tourist in your rental car. No, he was no longer any of those things that people would call him to dehumanize him. No, he was a naked man on the side of a once really busy highway with a magical key that had appeared on his thigh. He was standing at this door. The WD-40 still worked, even though it had been in the trunk of his car for a very long time. And he slid that key into the lock. And he turned the lock, and he did not pause, and he thought of the brown rose petals, and he fell down into the other dimension, and when he slid through, he came out, and there was Maui, as if it had never had any highways, and everybody had no clothes on, and they were dancing in rose petals, and rose petals were falling from the sky, and they were laughing, and so was he, and no one had any clothes, and no one had any titles, and nobody was differentiating themselves from each other, and it was good.
Thank you.
Thank you. To the Civic Center. Tell them about Little People.
What do you think of that impromptu poem? Wasn't that great? Genius. Channeling the light. Channeling the word, the sound. Well, this is good. We have a nice treat for us next. A new friend of mine came to the island with incredible talent and incredible passion and incredible gifts. It gives me the great honor to introduce to you Richard Marks, who's going to be performing some live songs for us. Please give Richard a nice round of applause. Richard.
To me, music is basically prayer, and it's a way to offer my highest prayer to the Creator. And I studied Indian music back in the 70s, and so my music has a flavor of raga to it. And one song that I'm going to play, the first song, is Raga Life, and it's basically, when people ask me what I write, I tell them that I write love songs for creation. So this is one of those.
Imagine yourself on a tropical isle. The scent of jasmine makes you smile. The sun's so bright up in the sky. It lights your senses, makes you high. So cool in the shade. So cool in the shade. The people of the earth treat you oh so nice. We celebrate you with this song, inviting you to sing along. So cool in the shade, so cool. Well, we really so cool, so cool in the shade. We're dancing on the edge of time, moving to the rhythm, making up the rhymes. We do what we can for humanity, but only you can set you free. So cool, so cool in the shade, so cool. Everything you got it made, so cool, so cool, so cool in the shade. The older you get, you're never out of school. Are you still living the golden rule? Always discovering who you're meant to be, riding waves of change, so gracefully, so gracefully. Messengers of love on spaceship Earth, living on this lovely planet of our birth. And destiny will surely have its way. Come on, share what you have to say. Say it, be it, free it, dance your heart away. So cool in the shade. You're older now and you've been through hell on a planet where the people just sell to keep you from truly being free. They send you on a shopping spree. So cool in the shade, so cool, so cool in the shade, so cool in the shade. And here you are with all that stuff on a planet that just don't seem to love enough. Content to be what you think is free, while so many cry out in misery. So cool in the shade, so cool. Well, you think you got it made, so cool in the shade. We've been at war for all these years, lives are short and filled with tears. They say some things will never change, but no one counted on these days. So cool in the shade. Messengers of love on spaceship Earth, dancing on this planet of your birth. Destiny will surely have its way. So come on, share what you have to say. So cool in the shade. The time has come to bring to an end the world as we know it, where we're not all friends. Are you helping to heal our world and nurture every boy and girl? So cool in the shade, so cool. Well, you know we got it made. So cool in the shade. We're on the verge of world liberty, advancing the cause for humanity. We're balanced on the edge of time, dancing in a new paradise. So cool in the shade, so cool in the shade, so cool. so cool in the shade, so cool, so cool in the shade, so cool. Thanks for watching. You know that your television is a time bomb, and that for every moment you watch it being programmed, in today's world, that means fear and you're not good enough. Imagine yourself on a tropical isle. The scent of jasmine makes you smile. The sun's so bright up in the sky. The lights your senses makes you high. So cool in the shade. So cool in the shade. So cool in the shade. So cool in the shade, so cool. So cool in the shade, so cool. So cool, so cool. So cool in the shade, so cool. So cool in the shade, so cool.